The Ryan Goodman and Tangway podcast is brought to you by Fanduel, the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network.
All right, welcome into another episode of the Ryan and Goodman podcast. Gary Tangway is off somewhere again, gallivanting and having fun. I don't know. Where is he this week, Bob?
Montana.
Bozeman, Montana.
Right, with a little side trip to Jackson Hole, we said at the end of the trip. So.
Very nice, very nice. I just got back from the Bahamas, Bob, taking my daughter. And to the Atlantis, which has kind of fallen off a little bit since I went 10 years ago. We get there, and we were immediately downgraded our rooms that we had booked.
Downgrade.
There was no running water the first day, so we couldn't shower or brush our teeth.
Wait a second.
Yeah, no running water for a day. How about that?
That's luxury, yeah.
That was not luxury. But again, listen, the bottom line was it was just me and my daughter.
Yeah.
My wife had to stay home with our elderly dog, which sucked for her. But it was a good combination. There were some teams there. We didn't really go for the basketball, but, you know, Creighton was there. We watched them for a little bit. Iowa State was there. Furman was there. South Carolina was there. Texas A&M. And LSU got there at the end. Then there's a new hotel called the Baha Mar. It's about 10 minutes away. And we went over there, and Xavier and Penn State were over there. So I just, saw some coaches.
Sure.
Gamble with some players. A lot of players hitting the blackjack tables, Bob, with their new NIL deals.
It's a whole new world. Oh, my God.
Whole new world. So we had fun, though. The weather was great. Food was good, overpriced, but good. Yeah. And so we just got back yesterday, and it's been good to be home. So we'll have Gary back next week. Not a lot going on. We'll talk a little bit here in a minute about the Hall of Fame inductions.
It's officially
going in this year. But let's start with kind of the two unresolved storylines in the offseason. And I don't know where they're going to end, but James Harden first has made it pretty clear he wants to go to the Clippers. Daryl Morey has kind of made it clear throughout his career he's not going to just give anybody away. He's going to wait it out. He did it with Ben Simmons for a while and got Harden as part of that deal, and at least made kept the Sixers competitive.
Yeah,
for the most part. They never did what people thought they would do, but now he's got Harden and trying to get him the Clippers and get enough back. My question to you is, what's James Harden's worth at this point in his career?
That was going to be my question. He's up there in age. There's occasional bursts. I think he's a classic aging athlete, and that there are nights when you go, oh, it's there.
Yep. But
there were far too many nights when you're talking about what used to be rather than what is. And I think that's the category he's entered into. So if you're counting on him to be an integral part of getting you to a championship, no. If you're counting on him to be an auxiliary part that maybe will help you in spots, and then yes. So what's that worth to to somebody? So that's it. I mean, don't delude yourself into thinking you're getting to James Harden of 8 years ago.
Well, that's the biggest thing is he's not that. Like you said, he'll show moments in the playoffs when it was like, okay, that's kind of the old James Harden, because the one benefit of James Harden, he was never an elite athlete anyway. So at 33, it's not like he's lost the burst. I think when the rules changed a little bit, that hurt James Harden as well. Yeah. But give him credit. He's been able to kind of adapt as more of a playmaker for others.
Oh,
just as a scorer.
Absolutely. He impressed me and fooled me. I'm not a fan. I didn't like the peak ball control. He's 19-second dribbling out of 24-second clock, and then either he even step back or then reluctantly give the ball up. That guy I didn't like. But fact is that his assists, and I keep kidding about this, the game's over and he's got 12 assists. I said, I don't remember them. But they were there somewhere. So he has become far more of a facilitator and as the first thing than you realize. But still, it's not all-star. It's not all-star anymore.
Well, he's making over $35 million this year.
And there is that.
There's that. And if to me, you send him to the Clippers with Kawhi and Paul George, who are hurt every single year, it feels like now. And I feel bad for Kawhi. I really do, because you kind of have the what if game a little bit with Kawhi. And if he had ever stayed healthy, because he was at the top.
Oh, he plays to get the right game, the quote unquote right way.
Yes.
He's a if you're gonna in the top of the list of modern, like last 10, 12-year players, if you're a high school coach or a college coach and you want to show somebody, here's how you play basketball.
Yeah.
He's that guy, and that you want to show somebody how to play this game properly.
He's a throwback, Bob, because number one, he was a terrible shooter coming out of San Diego State, and he turned himself into a pretty good shooter. Number two, he's an elite defender. Number three, the throwback part of Kawhi is he just wants to play ball. Like he doesn't want to talk to the media. Not like he's, not nice. That's not part of who he's ever been.
Right. Not as part of his personality.
I remember telling you this story years ago, I think, but first interview he ever did nationally was with me at Fox Sports when he was a sophomore at San Diego State, and he showed up 45 minutes late just because he didn't care. He didn't care. He was with his cousin at the Department of Motor Vehicles, and just was basically like, I'll get there when I get there. And he was great when he got there. He was great, know. But yeah, I don't think Harden, Kawhi, Paul George is going to scare too many people, because frankly, the odds of those three being on the court come postseason, is minimal. The other guy that's kind of hanging around right now is Damian Lillard, and what's going on there. I mean, obviously he's made it pretty clear through his agent that the 33-year-old wants to go to Miami.
Miami specifically, yes.
Which, how do you feel about that? I mean, I know
like it at all.
A lot of players come out there and give a list of 3-5 teams, but to come out there and basically say like, no, I just want to go to the Miami Heat. And I don't know if he said that. I don't know if he said like just Miami, but it's been reported out there that that's kind of the team that he's locked into. Well,
fine. He can wish all he wants, but he can't make it, he can't make it happen specifically. And, I'm sure they'd love to have him. I wouldn't, I'd take him for a year or two still, but he's still a terrific player. But no, it's an interesting one. And Portland, they don't have to do anything they don't want to do, right? He's not going to sit out a year, right?
No chance.
No. So, it's a staring contest. They will win in some regard, I think.
He'll win.
Right.
He'll win because he won't be there. The bottom line is, if you're Portland, you can wait. And I think Morey did this pretty much with Ben Simmons, if you remember. He waited. I think he waited half a season. You're not going to wait that long, because ultimately you're going to say to yourself, we got to get some guys in here that want to be here, that can help us with the next chapter. And you got to figure out too, like, who's going to be gone out of that young group. You're going to keep all those guards. They got some good young guards in Anthony Simons and Shaedon Sharpe, and who are you going to put with those guys? They need a big. I've said this for years. They need a good big if they can get one. But I don't know what Lillard's going to command at 33 years old. I'll tell you this: if you put him in Miami, and you just getting rid of Tyler Hero and Gabe Vincent, and you team him with Jimmy Butler, boy, I just think Lillard and Butler complement each other so well in their strengths and weaknesses on the court, and then off the court. They're both tough.
That would be a really formidable duo. There's no question about it. So one more thing before we go to Hall of Fame. Are you going to be paying any interest to our U.S. Team USA, who had their first exhibition game against Puerto Rico? What I read yesterday is about their bonding. They're really taking this as a group seriously. It's one for all and all for one. That everybody's going out to dinner together. There's no cliques. It's really a bonding experience so far. I mean, there's some. It's an interesting team. A name caught my eye. It was on the team, and then I did a little, personal research. I said, "Oh God, he's and I wanted to like him. But he's better than I thought." Walker Kessler.
Yes.
Walker Kessler had a damn good year, and he is a shot blocking guy, and he is anyway. He's our resident well, Jaren Jackson's on the team, of course.
Right.
And
two elite bigs.
So we're not in bad shape
bigs.
with bigs. We're in good shape with bigs with those two.
Yeah, they're very different defensively how they do it, but they're two of the better. The roster doesn't blow you away, but it's young.
It's a B plus.
Yeah,
roster maybe.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they got a bunch of young guys. I'm curious. Again, these things don't until they start getting to the games that matter.
Yeah,
I'm not paying attention to these friendlies and exhibition games at all.
Right.
But when the games matter, I'll watch. Part of the reason I watch, Bob, is because there's nothing else on.
Football season is about to kick off, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to win all season long. Right now, when you bet on a Super Bowl winner, you can get bonus bets every time they win in the regular season. Just pick any team to win the Super Bowl, and you'll get bonus bets for every victory. I wonder how many people are going to bet on the Patriots. You can use your bonus bets on spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Boston and start earning bonus bets with America's #1 sports book. That's FanDuel.com/Boston.
No, they fill a void for the basketball fan at this point. Yep. No, it's good. So anyway, it's 25th of the month, and all
right, who's the guy looking down that roster? If I'm asking you to put your house, get that. I can read you the names if you want.
Go ahead.
All right,
please.
So I'm gonna read you the names, and then my question to you is: put your house on one guy getting to the Hall of Fame out of this group. Who would it be? Ready?
Yep.
Paolo Banchero, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, Brandon Ingram, Jaren Jackson Jr., Cam Johnson, Walker Kessler, Bobby Portis, Austin Reeves.
Okay. Long projection.
Yes.
Edwards going to have a great career. And the other one, Paolo.
Yeah.
The long shot projection. He could have a terrific career. I think.
I'm going Paolo. I'm going Paolo here.
Yeah. And speaking of Edwards, by the way, you saw he's in the news for not a good reason. Fined $50,000. Is it $50,000 for throwing two chairs after hurting somebody by accident? Reckless, stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway, So we're going to agree. I was wavering, but Paolo. I think Paolo's his tools are outstanding. Let's face it.
He's like Chris Webber, but a bigger Chris Webber. Than Webber. And I trust him a little bit more than I do Anthony Edwards. But the part is, and we'll transition here to the guys and the coach going into the Hall of Fame this year. When you look at it, all these guys that are going in, Bob, have one thing in common. They've all won titles.
They got rings.
They've all got rings. And you look at Anthony Edwards and Paolo, and they got a long way to go.
Oh, yeah.
But they're probably not winning titles with the current franchises they're with. Could we agree there?
Right. Well, you don't know what Orlando's going to project to be, but probably not. But
got a long way to go to get back. Orlando, a long way to go. Minnesota, not banking on it again.
No.
They've both got 10 plus years left in the league, probably. So who knows what can happen? But I would say with the way the league is now and guys switching teams, if either one of them wins a title, it'll be with a different franchise. All right, let's start. I'm going to give you your choice here. I'm going to give you your choice, but I want it to be in order here of because there's a lot of good players that are going in. 4 really good
nice
players.
In order,
the most accomplished was who?
Dirk.
Yes.
Dirk's one of the all-time great forwards. He's on the short list of greatest forwards of all time. There's more, but he was, he was a forward. He's 7 foot. Here's my order of the guys: Dirk, Wade, Powell, Parker.
Yes, 100%.
And now I'm a huge fan of Powell, but I'm not going to be so self-centered here to ignore Wade's great accomplishments. But that's my order. And I'm a little surprised. I think Parker is very borderline.
Me too. I'm
very borderline, and I don't begrudge him, and I like him. I always liked this game, but I was a little surprised that he got in. But it was stomped. I mean, I would have made the plea for Powell. I love Powell, And of course, Wade's a no-brainer, and Dirk's a no-brainer. They're no-brainers. They're clearly worthy. So
Parker, Parker was, again, he was a piece. He needed other guys around him, and he had great guys around him. He was not a great athlete, not a very good shooter, couldn't really guard. Obviously ran the team, grew up, obviously coming from France, came in. I think he made the All-NBA or All-Star team 5 or 6 times, won 4 titles, again, played a long time, was the finals MVP in 2007, which was huge for him. But yes, he was probably the least accomplished and a borderline guy, but I think he got in largely based on the overall accomplishments of his franchise and them winning at such a high level.
I was maybe disproportionately in this argument, in this discussion, influenced by Powell and because of the Olympics in 08 and 12. And I saw them play a lot in Spain, and they pushed us twice. They were very legitimate games for gold medals, and I maintain that circa 2008, 9, 10, 11, that era, he was the most skilled big man in the world. He was the best skilled. His range of, I can picture him, left-hand shots, turnarounds, anything you needed, and an excellent rebounder, just an efficient player, and I'm screaming to the rafters it was jobbed out of all MVP in the 2010 Kobe bias. I'm sorry. The best player for the Lakers in that series was Pau Gasol, and I had a vote. I voted for Pau Gasol, and but Kobe won. Anyway, I'm so happy for him. Plus, he's an interesting guy. He's interested in medicine. And he's a
parents.
He's a true. He used to go. His recreation was going to operations, and watching operations. But he's a Renaissance man, a true Renaissance man, and a worthy guy. And I'm going to Springfield and for the weekend, and I don't know if I'll get to interact with any of those guys or not. There's other people I know I will be, but it's a fun. I look forward to it. I go to enshrinement most years. So,
I haven't been in a while.
We'll be going.
I'd like to go. This one, I think again all right. So
and of course
we talked right. We talked about the players. The speech you probably want to hear the most is Pop. No.
Who now they all have presenters, and have presenters have to be Hall of Famers. And Pop's quartet is David Robinson, Manu Ginobili, Tim Duncan, and Tony Parker. That's not bad. Yeah.
Didn't he say he didn't want to go in? Bob, I think he said he didn't want to go in until all those guys were already in.
No, good. Powell's is interesting. You know who's Powell's presenter is?
No.
Tony Kukoc.
Tony
fellow European. Yep. Parker is Manu and Duncan. Here's one. Now you can tell me maybe, because my daughter keeps asking me, and I don't know the specific personal connection that would cause this. Dwayne Wade. Now it has to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So the first possibility could have been, of course, Shaq.
Right.
Allen Iverson.
Ooh, interesting.
His selection.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what
so
that
it must
is.
be some personal relationship.
Yeah, he might have grown up watching Allen Iverson.
Yeah, who knows?
Dwayne Wade was an interesting one because, I just remember at Marquette, he was prop 48, couldn't play his freshman year at Marquette.
Oh yeah, right.
Right.
No,
had a great career there. Was drafted in that unbelievable draft class in 2003. He was drafted 5th. Won 3 NBA titles. I think Pat Riley just recently called him the best Miami Heat player ever, which makes sense because LeBron only played there 4 years. So, to me, that makes sense. Dwayne Wade played his, basically his entire career in Miami.
Yep.
Won 3 titles with them. Was maybe not the best player on the 2012 and 2013 teams, but arguably the better player when he was playing with Shaq in Miami.
Now, there are other people, of course, we have to pay homage to. Becky Hammond is going in.
Yep.
And she shouldn't need any introduction to people who are basketball fans. The 2 coaches that people don't know well, of course, or 3 actually, Gary Blair, Gene Bess, and the one that has resonance in New England, Dave Hickson.
Yeah.
Years and years and years and years at Amherst. And his presenter will be Jim Calhoun.
Wow.
And there's one more coach that college basketball fans will know, and that's Gene Cady. But Jerry Colangelo and Tom Izzo are those who will be representing, speaking for Gene Cady. So
Cady, obviously an unbelievable coach.
He came off in a way gruff and all. He's a big teddy bear, personally. When you got a little bit, I was exposed to him socially and very, he was very like hell. Hey, the funny thing is, all those years, he was a hell of a coach. He really was, and he held, and of course he was up against Knight for so many of those years, and that battle for the state of supremacy in the state of Indiana, and he held his own. Damn it, look it up.
Yeah,
he held his own.
Give me your, the most interesting thing of this class to me is still Dirk and how he changed the game, Bob. Because when I talked to Kevin Durant a few years ago, I asked him, I said, do you ever think about how you change the game for a 7-footer, for a big guy? And he looked at me and he was like, no, Dirk was the one who changed the game for a big guy. Like KD kept it going, and probably to a point where more kids wanted to be KD than Dirk, because KD was a little more athletic than Dirk was. But really, Dirk started to change it as a 7-foot.
Well,
right?
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's say there's one that got to pay. It's Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett was a 7-footer who adamantly refused to be pegged as a 5.
But he wasn't skilled like Dirk offensively. That's the difference.
Well, he could pass and better. Dirk's offense. No, Dirk. Larry. Larry was obviously a great 3-point shooter, but the game is evolving. It wasn't the whole game for him. That was just the icing on the cake in this game. But Dirk made it a staple. And also, I'm very big on people leaving I hate to use the word legacy, an image. And I think, what are we going to think of? He owned a shot, the step back.
That's right.
That 1 foot off the step back.
Yes.
That's his. So people, and today in this game, if you're going to do it, everybody will say, you're taking a Nowitzki, you're taking a Dirk. He owns a shot. That's to me, I love that. The guy, I think when you can think of a guy and you can think of a thing he did that was not maybe necessarily unique, but where he specialized, and he left the game with that. I'll tell you another like quote unquote legacy. And by the way, he's going to be who's presenting Dirk?
Nash.
Jason Kidd and Steve Nash.
Yeah. I figured
Nash resurrected the floater.
Yeah.
It was, and now everybody's doing floaters. Everybody. I mean, but I'm telling you, if you go back, if you could research Steve Nash, that's something out of the 50s. I took floaters. I'm telling you. And 40, 50 years ago, and then they were out, and Nash brought it back. All the women are doing them. Everybody's doing floaters, and it's all because of Steve Nash. And when I think of Steve Nash, that's what I think of. But anyway,
here's the thing with Dirk too, Bob. Not only did Dirk change the position a little bit, but he was kind of the start of all the international guys coming over.
He's the best. I'm glad you brought that up. It's a fine argument. It's a barroom argument. There's no right, there's no wrong, except them, when you always think with. Who's the greatest non-American? I don't think he's the greatest non-American. I think I'm talking about born and raised, and that is Elijah Wan.
Yeah.
I think is the.
But I would agree.
He did play college here, so now we got a new category. Dirk is the greatest non-American purebred, totally European bred.
Yeah.
Totally European bred. Did not come play prep school here. Did not play college here.
Tough.
He was bred in Germany, and he's the greatest of them all. And
that's the other part. You got 3 guys here: Dirk, Parker, and Powell. That none of which played college basketball.
And then we've got. I always loved this about him. We got Tim Duncan, who's an American citizen, naturally born and raised in the Virgin Islands, but who was not corrupted by AAU basketball. He has the mentality of a European. He wasn't all this insidious nonsense of AAU basketball those genes were not implanted in him. So that was always interesting. I thought about him. No, but Dirk is the greatest European of them all, and there's some great ones, but he's the greatest, no question. Now we have a challenger, and the book is being written in Milwaukee right now.
Yeah.
Right. And it's being written in Denver right now.
Yes.
That's fine. But until their careers are done, Messrs. Antetokounmpo and Jokic, the winner and still champion of greatest European is Dirk Nowitzki.
Well, listen, here's what I'll tell you. 14-time All-Star, won an NBA title, the franchises only in 2011. Played, his whole career with one franchise.
Yeah,
scored over 30,000 points in Dallas. Finals MVP. Both Giannis and Jokic have a chance here. They do. It's not like Dirk's won 4 titles.
Yeah. So
they could certainly do it if they can win multiple titles. I think they could surpass, and they're playing, 12, 15 years. They don't necessarily have to go to 14 All-Stars, but I think they'd have to win, 3 titles, which both of them have a chance because of how wide open it is right now.
Yeah. I just love a name just flashed across my head as we were speaking, but I think it's the 20th anniversary in 2023 of the great what if of all the Europeans. And that was Drazen Petrovic, who I believe died in 2003 in that automobile accident, but right around there. But he was on his way to the Hall of Fame. There's no question about it. And we don't know where that would have taken us, but that. So we're speaking about great Europeans. I want to pay homage to the memory of Drazen Petrovic.
All right. We will get a recap from Bob next week on the Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
There'll be some speech that'll be not knockout. There'll be something that'll happen. It always it's a for basketball fans. If you're ever thinking about it, it's and it's public. You buy tickets. It's open to the public, and if you're a basketball junkie, you might consider that as a belt notch.
I love how you go. I love how you go with your daughter every year, Bob. That's awesome.
Well, she's a great fan. Great fan.
So she'll sit there and love all the speeches.
Yep, and oh yeah, I mean she's still talking about Chris Bosh's speech. We all talking about he stole his kids stole the show. He was somebody
will do that. Yeah, somebody will do that this year.
Something will happen. Yeah.
All right, listen. Thanks for watching. We will see you next week, and we'll have our sidekick Gary Tangway back from Bozeman, Montana.
Tales from Montana. Yes.
That's right.
Sign up at FanDuel.com/Boston and make every moment more on America's #1 sportsbook.